Well, I think we can start. Hello, everyone. Welcome to fifth edition of InStat Basketball Webinar. Hopefully, all of you are doing well. Today, we have a pretty much different webinar because usually we have only one speaker, and on our special edition today we have two guests from a club, Casademont, Zaragoza. It's a very famous club that plays in the Spanish league in ACB, and also they had an outstanding season in FIBA Champions League. And this club have a lot of eyes from the NBA scouts because this club represented by Carlos Halosen. And I would like to welcome our special guests, Nacho, Juan, and Manuel Peña. Bienvenidos, Mano. Bienvenidos, Nacho. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much for the invitation, and we are good, just ready for this presentation. I hope everybody enjoy what we have just humbly prepared. So thanks, Nikita, for the invitation and all InStat team.
Yeah, the pleasure is always ours. And I would like also to introduce myself. My name is Nikita. I'm the global director of basketball for InStat. And Nacho and Manuel are going to cover the topic, yeah, uh, about their approach on scouting, exactly approach and breakdown with InStat for the scouting reports. I also would like to add that Manuel has really wide experience. And he counts almost 10 years coaching, and he coached internationally. He was the head coach for Reading Rockets in British Basketball League, and currently he's a head coach assistant for Tecniconta Zaragoza. And Nacho is also very experienced specialist in scouting and in coaching, and we are thrilled to know how Casademont Zaragoza in face of Manuel and Nacho are doing scouting, and what is their special approach here in preparing scouting reports. So please welcome.
As Manuel said, thanks for having us. I'm thrilled to just share how we work with InStat, a great source of information for us. And, Manuel is going to explain the team part. I'm going to talk about individual scouting, but both of us are going to talk about InStat, how we use it, and how we try to customize that info that is really helpful for us in our daily work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's really interesting to know, especially from such professionals from the Spanish league as you guys. So please share with our wide audience some of your secrets.
Well, it's not our secrets what we are gonna share, but yes, we are gonna share how we humbly work basically. And when we were told just to prepare this presentation, the first thing was it was a kind of challenge because we wanted to share how we work in the team. So especially when we are doing just scouting, it's a teamwork. So right now we are going to present Nacho and myself, but obviously we cannot do this work without Sergio Lamu, which is the other assistant coach as well, and overviewed by our head coach, Porfi Fisac. So basically we are going to explain more or less, and we know that you did a different webinar, so we wanted to cover, other kind of content. So we are going to explain how we do the first approach, and how we just have the first feeling about the team that we are going to be playing. The team that we are going to be that we are selected is the team of Dijon. We played Dijon in the second game in the basketball champions, and they were just already being the sensation in France League. And very good in the champions. They were first in the champions, and they didn't lost in the last months at home, and they were coming with a very good trend. So it was a big challenge. And well, in the first approach, we select some points that at the end, when we did after the post game, we were sure that they were key points. So let's go with that. Just talking initially for the short chart. Okay. So the first time we are doing, okay, the last 5 games, for example, we will watch after in the website as well, but we just have some images here. So last 5 games and last 5 home games. Okay, the shot chart, and we can see very easy that here, for example, they are a good team in percentage shooting from the corners, but they are not shooting a lot from the corners as much as they are shooting in the wings. And in the wings is a big difference at home and away. So we are talking that here in that side, for example, is 28%, and here at home is 49% in a 5-game selection, and here it's 38, and here it's 41, well, more or less, but it's a good percentage. Okay, a good team in threes. Actually, another thing that we are looking sometimes is just as well, okay, the kind of shots in the last seconds. Okay, and it's very easy as well with the InStat here with this command, just saying, okay, how they are shooting in the last 2 minutes. And actually, again, very interesting, the shots from the corners. All right, so from there as well, okay, trend, pick and roll, and pace. So where they are playing more the pick and roll, okay, this is a team that is playing pick and roll in the middle, okay, 51, okay, and more in the right than in the left side. So that's interesting things, and maybe for some kind of defense could be good for future. But in the trends here that of the statistics, something that is very interesting for us was, okay, the statistics that they have and the statistics of the opponent. All right, so in the accumulation of 5 games, we know that they have more possessions than the other team in all the games, and they had as well, okay, more threes and better percentage in threes than the other teams. All right, so actually they shoot 27, 28, and the other teams, they had 23. So 2 important keys was, okay, we need to do more, okay, possessions than them, and we need to shoot more threes than them. Actually, after the game, that was the result. We shoot 17, they shoot only 9. All right, and we had as well, we shoot 33, they shoot 22, and they score 9, and we score 17. Right, the percentage for us was very good, and after we tie the possessions. Right. Another point, it was important for the key points was, okay, how are the lineups? So we watch the lineups. Okay, we watch, okay, how they are, okay, in the people that is working and playing more together. And we have here that the difference of the rebounds, especially in all of them, they are very big. So 21 against 12 in this minus with these people, 18 against 15, 22 against 11. So one important battle was the rebound, and actually we beat that one, okay, 21 to 32. So it was important points for us. And after, the last thing that we are going to do, and we are going to watch after as well in the website, was, okay, how we link, okay, for our first videos with NAC Sport. Okay, so we had some situations from the game before, because this is the second game that we play against them. So from the first game, analyze against them, and we wanted, for example, to add some offense rebounds and some 3-point shots, which is the keys that we in the first approach we select. So it's very easy, and we are going to watch, if you want, for example, now in the program. So going to the program, for example, we have selected here already the 5 games that before than our game. So obviously all of these games didn't happen. We have to be, okay, do that exercise. And we can as well, okay, do something. Nacho will speak better after when we talk about the individuals, because another key probably was to hold on, okay, Holston, and how we arrived to that point. But we can do that with the advanced filter, because some teams, for example, in Europe, they are having different shots or different percentages than in the league. It was a big comment that the balls, they are different, for example, and the kind of percentages as well. So with this tool, we can do very easy. But now, going for what we want, just easy one, 5 games. This is the short chart that we had before. Here, okay, with the totals. And here we can see for the last quarter in these games and in the last 2 or 3 minutes, wherever we won, if that's happened. This is the last 5 games. Obviously, if you want to put the home games, you can go here and you can go immediately the last 5 games and put that out, or with advanced filter. And after that, the interesting thing that we had is, as we say, we go for Brindisi and how we export what we want to NACSport. So if we go, for example, to the box score, we go to this command here, XML, all right, and we select, okay, 3 points made, for example, and offensive rebounds, for example. We can select more things. If, for example, we see that it's a team that is running a lot of fast break and they are scoring a lot in the fast break, or they are playing a lot of off screens, I don't know, for example, in ACB or Moderator, that they are playing with a lot of pin downs, so we can play, okay, and put other things. For example, here, or teams that they are playing a lot of handoffs or a lot of pick and rolls or pick and roll in the middle, for example. Very interesting for Real Madrid, Campaso, okay, playing with Tavares a lot of pick and rolls in the middle. So we want to see that actions, how they put the ball up. So we are going to be talking about it. So from here, we say, okay. And we have here, okay, and save. Go and save, and we can save it, all right? So we did already, and we save already in order that we are not waiting here. At the same time, you go for the game, and you go for the full game, and you download, okay, in the quality that you want, for example, here, right? And go. And we already did that, okay? So we have here in one folder that we call is in the desktop and is in InStat, okay? So we go now for NACSport, and pretty easy. Okay, we have here. Sorry. Sorry again. My analysis, sorry, was here. Sorry, I'm just.
Don't worry, Manuel. Do not hurry up.
That's fine.
Yeah. I know that you just had a practice, yeah, and you
Yeah,
were
we
running
finished,
to
finished
the
practice right now. You know what I mean? So it was
yeah.
like a kind
And
of stress to arrive and to prepare everything. So we already set up.
yeah, as we know, like the Spanish league is the unique and the only one that will continue and finish the season. Yeah. So first of all, thanks a lot for basketball for to the Spanish league. Yeah, because
Yeah.
for basketball fans it's very important. Yeah, because like at least at the end of the um, that in summer we will see not a lot, but at least some basketball of a very high quality. Manu, by the way, we cannot see your screen. Could you please?
Yeah, one second, because it was a fall down here. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Sorry. So if you give me a second, I will do in a second here.
No
if not, Nacho, I can go back later and finish with this part, and you can go directly with the individuals, okay?
Okay, there you go. I share the screen and we start. Okay, let's go. Sharing the screen right now. I hope you are looking at it properly. So I'm not using a lot of this presentation, to be honest. I prefer to show everyone how the InStat interface is. But anyway, sorry, I have a problem here. There you go. But when I'm talking about individual scouting with InStat, I talk about a process of 4 steps. When I log into InStat, I understand everything as a process of these 4 steps. And the first thing you see when you log into InStat is the shot chart. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but for me it's very important because shot chart helps me to give me like an outline of the player. I'm going to put an example of the reference player of the John, which is David Holston, which is a really special player because he's a small point guard, but he did a really good job during the season. And one of the main goals for us before the game was to stop him. So for me, the shot chart is important for these 3 things. First, the outline. What's the first thing I look at it when I log into InStat, and what the shot chart can tell me about the player. And we are going to talk it a little bit later. Second thing is the high percentage shots. In modern basketball, we talk about spot ups, threes, and layups. They are the 2 most important shots in basketball, at least, because it's the high percentage shots. So it's important to know how they respond to those 2 situations. And then the third thing, looking for the trend, but not only looking for the trend, because when you look at that shot chart, when you are looking at a power center, like for example Tavares, you are going to see that he everything he does is to finish under the rim, for example. But we are also looking for the ugly duckling, like for example the mid-range shots, which is something I cannot say it's strange, but it's less used because it's a more difficult shot. It's not very efficient, but it's important for us to look at the shot chart and let's see if it's a trend for him and why. And then to summarize a little bit the presentation, I'm looking at the advanced stats. I will share the interface of InStat to show all of you what I look at it. And there are 3 main focus here. First, the criteria. Why do we use this advanced stat? What are we looking at? And second, the focus. As I said before, InStat provides us a lot of info, and we need to prioritize, summarize, and translate to the players. We are not saying the player what's the offensive rating of David Holston. We are saying what that means to his game and what that means to his team game. So that's very important for us. And the third one, conclusions. When we talk about the shot chart, the picture is very global. We have a big picture in front of us, and advanced stats help us to adjust that focus in the picture and try step by step. As I said, it's a process to really define the player as well as we can, but with the less words possible. For us, the less is more philosophy. It's key because we have a lot of games and there's a lot of info into the player's head. So we really work into that philosophy of less is more. The third step of the process, of my process, of our process, is the play types. As I said, this first step is the less is more, because play types have to tell us 2-3 aspects that really define the player, that really define him in general. I mean, he may do a lot of pull-ups after pick and roll, but maybe he's not good at it. But it's important because he plays a lot. For us, we need to tell the player how he plays, especially in Basketball Champions League. Because let's be honest, we don't know as well as we know the ACB players. It's not the same for Basketball Champions League. We really knew before David Holston, it was an important player, but we really need InStat to really focus on the player and really tell our players how he plays. And then 2 more steps, offense and defense. In offense, what are we facing? I'm not going to really focus on this because I'm talking about it in general. Be ready for that and how we respond to that. If he's really good at pull-ups going left after pick and roll situation, how we respond and how we translate this info to the player so he really is ready before the game to stop that kind of action. And third, defense. When we talk about defense, I'm going to be honest, here is not a secret. I think more teams do it, but we especially look for the weakness. We also tell our player that this player or another is a good defender, but for us, it's more important to tell our starting point guard that this point guard doesn't defend properly the reject in ball screen situations. For us, it's more important that to look for the weakness, find it, and let's see how we attack it tactically or individually. So this is the third step. For me, is the most important one, and it's a really entertaining process to look at this. And then the video summaries, with 2 keys. Customize, that's the most important thing for me with InStat, that they provide me a lot of info, but they let me customize what I want. So they let me with the interface, with the features, I can really customize, I can really build my own style and be comfortable with it. And then execute, just to click on the features and just look at the videos, and let's see if the videos are really help me with the conclusions about the player, and to finally really build this individual scouting report. So I'm going to just talk with a little bit with the InStat logging in. So you can see our main actor today, which is David Holston, individual scouting, the key player. And for me, it's really a challenge to try to really define a key player in 2-3 aspects. But it's not about me; it's about the player. So, as I said, the shot chart really tell us things, And I'm not just looking first at the percentage, which is also important, but the volume. Let's see. You can see that he even in the wing, from the wing, he really shoots more threes than layups, which is more important, which defines the player. David Holston, as you can see, is not a very tall point guard; it's a small point guard. So, how a small point guard really excels in a European competition, being really good in shooting threes. So, as I said, I was talking about high percentage shots. So I can come here under the shot chart, and I can talk about layups and jumpers. So that's the most, for me, with the shot chart, that's the most important thing. Of course, then you can really get into details like the play types, like the periods. We really, as Manuel explained really well, we like to look at clutch time, like the last 2 minutes or 3 minutes of the game, how he performs, and we can really see that he's really good. As you can see, I've selected all the Basketball Champions League games he has played, and he really performs good. As you can see, numbers don't lie. But for me, the shot chart, it needs to give me an outline, and the outline is that he's really good shooting threes, for example. And then we get into more details, but this is the first step. How shot chart helps me to build my own way. So as I said, I really like the advanced filter. I really like it because Basketball Champions League, I think interesting thing of the competition is that it's a different one. We've seen different types of play, and we have faced the challenge of a different ball. We talked every day about the ball, and players really, it was a little bit controversial. And for us, it was important because every team was missing more open shots, more 3-point shots in general. So offensive rebound was a key for us, and it was one of the keys why we perform well in Basketball Champions League. So you can go here, and just if you want to focus, of course, in this situation, in just our season, you can go from the second week, and you have here all the Basketball Champions League he has played. So it can really help you. This advanced filter, it's faster, it's easier, and it's very practical. You can get into it really easily. And it was interesting too, because sometimes if you are more interested, or you are facing a most important game, maybe you want to look at the defense that Neptunas did against them, because Neptunas, for example, does a similar defense to us. So you can select it and just look at this game. So it's a really dynamic searcher, and it really helps us. As I said, the second step, better, is the advanced stats. You can go here, and I've already selected some of the numbers I'm really into. I really like to talk about to look and find about offensive rating for his impact in the team's offense. I really like to go into assists to turnovers. I like a lot in Champions League this stat, the draw for rate, because we found out that Basketball Champions League, there was a lot of 1v1 situations, a lot of switching, and we really liked to see if the key players of our rivals were able to really get into different advantages and go into the free throw line. And two important things for me that are the true shooting percentage and the effective goal percentage. It was interesting because, as Manuel said, there was differences between the domestic league and the Basketball Champions League in terms of percentages. So we really looked into it because true shooting percentage, for example, talks about also about the free throws, but the effective field goal percentage no, and gives a lot of importance to the 3-point shots. So for us, it was some of the numbers. We look at it. You know, we don't talk the players about these numbers. We don't talk about the offensive rating David Holston has, but for us, it was important to bring some conclusions to help the player understand what he's facing. And, you know, there are a lot of info, as you can see. It was interesting too, the pre-shot combinations, because as you can see, it is related to the play types, which is what I'm going to talk about now. We have the play types here. I think it's the most important part because, as I said, we need in the scouting report to define the player with 2-3 aspects. And we have the possessions, the percent of players' possessions. As you can see, David Holston is a great, plays a lot of pick and roll and plays a lot of isolation, which is why I'm looking back to the draw for rate to see if such a small player like Holston is able to draw fouls and go to the free throw line again and get some easy buckets, which is get some easy points, better said, which is very important for us, you know. And this is the same for defense. As you can see, InStat provides not just info, but that you can really travel into the interface and really look at different things. You can click almost everything, so it's easy to learn because you can try a lot of things. And as I said, build your own style of work, and for me, it was very important. So for us to build the scouting report, the individual scouting report, look into the play types, it was very important. As I can see, he's a great pick and roll handler. He has a good numbers in points per possession, but he plays a lot of pick and roll. So if he plays that pick and roll, how he plays that pick and roll? You know, Manuel told us about these strengths of the team, but if he's the key player and he plays a lot of pick and roll, so we have to look at different things. And we go not just into the shot chart that provide us practical info, just not if he plays in the left side, to the right, to the left, to the baseline. He prefers middle pick and rolls. Or you can go here, you can click, and you can just start watching some videos if you want just that first approach to the player. Sometimes with the shot chart, to be honest, I click into the first 3-4 actions if I don't know the player, if I haven't seen it, I have never seen it. I like to click first into the shot chart to look, 5 minutes into the player to just have a first approach. And in the pick and roll, there are a lot of features here that we can look at. And the most important thing for me is also who he plays with, because as we've seen, he's not just a scorer. He is a good passer. he's the main creator of his team, and we have to look at the different associations, who he prefers as a teammate in those pick and roll situations. And for example, we found out that he played a lot with Richard Solomon, which was the starting setter, a really good player that we have to focus on also. So you have a lot of features. You can also look at the different opponents he have. As I said, if you are really interested into an important game and you know that Falco Sombatelli have a similar defense in pick and roll, you can look at his point guard, how he defends this. Even if it's good or even if it's bad, it's important, to compare, and InStat provide us this opportunity. You have also the defense type, which for us, for example, the switch part was really interesting to see how he performs after switch, because he's a small player, and as we saw, he really was able to create his own shots. He was really good creating his own shots, especially pull-ups to his left. He had a crazy step back to his left, so it was interesting. And here you have with shooting, but also without shooting, to see how he performs passing the ball. You can combine different things. You can just try, but also work, but especially working with the play types, because you can get a lot of you can have be here like 20 hours looking at David Holston and the different things, but you really want to focus on some things. So you can also pick the finisher, whatever you want, even if it's a third man. If we are having problems defending the pass back or spacing problems in pick and roll defense, let's see how he performs in those types of situations, and if we have to pay attention to that. And to finish, because I think I'm talking a lot as usual, I really talk fast.
No problem, you're good.
Pronunciation. And the last thing is the video summaries. That for me is just the last step, is just to enjoy all the process of 3 steps we had before, to just customize what I want to see. Because maybe our teammate, our assistant coach, our lead assistant coach Sergio Lamoa has already cut the game, but he needs more plays of David Holston attacking in transition. So InStat help us in that process. Imagine there are players that are really good drawing offensive fouls. We can also look at it. In the video, we are not talking a lot about the video, I know, but it's important because to be able to customize all this process really helps to complement all the work that Lamoa, our teammate Sergio Lamoa, has already done. So it really helps us. Can tell Manuel or me, we need more offensive rebound actions, as Manuel said. So this really helps us. It's an easy way. But as you can see here, for all the process you have, we've talked about David Holston, about the pick and roll plays. So we have here left, right, on shots with a made shot. If you want to really show the player, because maybe David Holston has done some bad games lately, but you know that he's a threat in these pull-up shots. And you want this type of clips to show the player and really tell the player what you want, because you just want 2-3 aspects that define the player, 2-3 phrases that really define the player and really help the player to be ready and just focus on those 2-3 aspects. So this more or less, we can talk about a lot more things. I'm looking forward for the questions of what we do, but I'm letting Manuel to finish his part. As I said, this is the individual scouting that I understand it as a process of 4 steps, and instead I understand it like a tool for me to summarize, to prioritize, and to really translate all the info we have to our players.
Yes, so I'm gonna finish the part that I was saying before. Okay, Nacho, I think that explained very good the teamwork that we are doing, and we had different keys, as we say, the 3-point shots, the rebounds, and also to stop somehow Holston in that way. So here right now, I was sharing, and I remind you guys, I had this XML download to the computer, and I went to the full game and I download the game. One other thing that I saw in the presentation, but I didn't put here, was the show, okay, stats opponent. And as we were saying, okay, we can have here all, and here we can have the accumulation, okay, for the last 5 games. And as we say before, okay, we detected that they have more threes than the other team, okay, and a better percentage as well, okay, and better possessions, so more possessions. So once we have here, as I say, I have in this folder the game and the XML, and I'm going, and that was when I couldn't find here before, Sport. Yes, if I'm here to tools, and I'm going to import from InStat XML. I have to select the XML, which is in a folder here, and I have here Dijon against Brindisi. All right, I have here categories and descriptions. I'm not going to touch anything for the moment here, and I'm going to select, or I'm going to put a database over here, which is going to be Happy Brindisi, this one, that's it. So already exists because I did already. So I want to provide yes, and I'm going to select the video, and the video is as well, okay, in the same folder. So here is link everything, okay, good. Go to the timeline, and already you have in NAC Sport everything. So you have here, for example, a presentation, okay, station that I did preparing the thing, so rebounds and threes, and you can be watching here, all right, all the actions. For example, here is Thompson action, which is like, okay, offense rebound, another action, which is another offense rebound, another action, okay, this one is a 3, so we have all threes and all offense rebounds. Okay, here is Thompson, okay, and if we want, for example, right, this is all the players from, okay, Brindisi in that way. All right, so we can just put anyone, okay, somehow. So as we say, it's interesting for us just to prepare, okay, all the videos and all the preparations. So we just have the first approach and the first breakdown. So Nacho and myself working, okay, with Sergio, preparing more or less the scouting report and the preparation, and InStat in that way help us a lot. So now, if Nacho finishes as well, we are ready for all the questions.
Nacho, Manuel, first of all, like thank you so much for the detailed presentation. Thank you for sharing your approach, yeah, your team approach to prepare scouting reports on teams and players. This is was that was really interesting and really helpful. Um, I believe, and I one thing I wanted to focus and really appreciate Nacho for sharing this. That when he said that InStat provides a lot of information, yeah, a lot of different information, statistics, videos, filters, etc., yeah. But for you, the key is to translate this information to players and to coaches in a really like provide them with key information, short information, because like Nacho mentioned during his presentation, yeah, like if you translate to, I don't know, to Carlos Alocen that he's going to defend that player from Dijon, yeah, and he has his defensive or offensive rating is I don't know, more than 1.5 per possession, he won't understand it. Yeah, and like you have to explain what this number, translates, what covers under this number, and provide him with appropriate explanation. Like he has to work to reduce this number, or vice versa. He has to, like for example, he shoots a lot of threes, but in the meantime his efficiency is quite poor, and his efficiency, especially from, I don't know, from wings or corners, is poor, and we have to let him make this attempt these shots. So thank you for this detail. I have a couple of questions. So you, during the presentation, Nacho and Manuel, you mentioned, you highlighted that for you the key is to reduce the information, to provide small reports, small explanations. And my question is, like, you combine statistics and videos, but when you share it with players, so what is the percentage? Like, I don't know, like you show more videos, or you explain like more numbers on paper? So this is the first question. And the second question will be, when you already prepared the scouting reports and you're going to present it to players or to team, do you have a global team meeting when you present all this information, and you speak, and coaches speak to players and explain this and that? Or you have you usually share these videos and statistics prior the game, I don't know, like a home task for players, like just look at this, and then we will discuss it during the practice or during the team meeting? So two questions.
Okay, well, I can start, and after Nacho can complete the answer for sure. I mean, the important thing for us, as you say, is just to translate what we are working, in a easy way, and giving a short information for the player. You imagine that also we have been in double competition, so we cannot be over. I mean, putting a lot of information to the player. I mean, we have to just, as you say as well, give the important details. And this, for example, that we are sharing with you was 3 important keys for us. And we are not saying directly. We are not saying, we have to shoot more threes. But we put in the situations, that for Robin Benzing, for example, to put and play and shoot more threes. So, and actually that was happened, because only himself, I think that he shoot like 11 or 17 that day. All right. So we know that we are going to be shooting more if we put the shooters in that situation, in real situations. Also, with the weaknesses that Nacho is presenting, we know against who we have to go. So let's translate to our basketball the statistics that we are just receiving from InStat, or with the analysis that we are doing. And after we have a team meetings as well, obviously, and we have a part of post game. So we have some individual videos with some of them individually, and after a full meeting before of the game, where we just present some tactical work and some individual work. Right, Nacho? So correct me and just complete the answer if you want.
No, just saying that, for example, I'm going to share again the screen, if you let me. For example, when we try to, just to complete, because everything Manuel said, I think is perfect. But for example, with David Holston things, we know that pick and roll and 1v1 situations may define him, but we really want also tell the player a little detail that can make a difference. For example, we thought that David Holston was a better shooter off the screens that some stats told us. His efficiency is good. We think it's good, but he didn't play a lot of off screens. So just tell the player, or in the scouting report or in the video is the guide, and the scouting report supports everything we say. You know, it's like two different realities that really have to be together, that really have to work together. The scouting reports, it's very important. I think the first step, and the video is like really supports what we're telling in both sides. So, for example, we may want to show the player in video that he a couple of exits off screens because it's good, and he may attack us because we have problems defending off screens, for example. So we may want to show him in the video, maybe not putting it in the not writing it in the scouting report because he doesn't play a lot, but the video can show some type of detail. But InStat help us to look and find that detail that may not be a trend, but can be a detail that can make a difference during the game. So I'll say about the first question that the player just want the simple number. If he sees in the scouting report this 41% in the left, in 40, for example, 40% in 3-point shots, he will really understand that he's a shooter, that he's a really solid shooter. But we during the workouts, during the drills, we need more details. So I think that for the player is the simple number, is the simple information, and all the details are into our drills and our daily work. But we need this kind of information about pick and roll handling, going to his left to work in the different drills. So it's not just about the scouting report or the video, but how we work every day in our drills, because we may want to deny his left side, and we need this kind of info that InStat provides us. So I think that's what I wanted just to say about both questions.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Nacho. Thank you, Manuel, for the answers, complete and very detailed answers. Yeah, I have another question. So you explain us, a case how you use the tool for scouting, for preparing scouting reports. My question will be, do you use it also for player development, maybe? So I don't know, like if you know that I don't know, Campazzo and Tavares is two outstanding pick and roll players. Yeah, so the one guy is an outstanding in setting screens and then diving towards the rim. The other guy is an outstanding player in create the space. Yeah, and the question is, do you use it for player development? Yeah, to show to maybe create some special drills, for players, and show video examples. Do you implement it in your player development work?
I mean, the answer is yes. I think that Nacho can explain a little bit more about if you want, about reference, and after I can just explain a little bit about the post game that I'm doing, even if that was not the focus of the presentation, because we wanted just to prepare the first approach and the first breakdown that we are doing, okay, for just detecting some interesting statistics points and interesting videos, just already to have a first feeling of the game, you know what I mean? But yeah, Nacho, if you want, you can explain a little bit what we are doing about the reference, and after I can just explain what I'm doing, or how we just complete with the post game.
For sure, Nikita. References for us is one of our main points in player development, and we use InStat a lot. Like, I'm going to share the screen again to just
please be welcome.
Put an example of this, because for me it was great, because looking at these references was the way I really learned to use InStat, because just to try different things, get into different factors. For example, you talk about Campazzo. So we're looking at it, and we want, for example, to show. So over here, we are in again. Oh. Let's see if it works out. But just while it's loading, while the application is loading, we use it a lot just to, especially to look at detailed things. But because we don't, when we talk about our point guards, how good we don't tell them how good is Facundo Campazzo itself. We want to show something that this point guard does really good and can make a difference into his player development, for example. And as I said, InStat provide us different type of information to just adjust the focus and make a video that really adjusts to this. Let's see if it loads correctly. But for example, I'm going to look at how Campazzo attacks when defense go under. It's very important because maybe our point guards are not excellent shooters, but they can create a lot from the pick and roll situations. So we go here, for example. We go a lot directly. When I look into references to our young players, for example, I like to go directly to the video summaries. I can directly go to pick and roll handle, but it may be better just to go under the shot chart. And for example, in pick and roll, as I said, let's see how he performs when the defense under. So we have in the shot chart all this kind of information, and we can select, and we can even be better because maybe it's without shooting or just 3-point field goals with shooting, how he performs, how he attacks those spaces when the defense goes under. So this is how I approach these references with InStat, directly going to the reference, but not just itself, just look at 100 of Campazzo clips, but use these kind of features to really get the player to know what I want to show him. And these kind of features are really good for us. So really InStat help us with this kind of work in player development for sure.
And again, I mean, completing this kind of work, obviously we are doing a part of post-game. I'm just analyzing all the post-game and cutting everything through Naxport. So I have our own analysis, and with the same system that I showed you before, with the XML, if I want, for example, some defense, let's see, for example, Carlos Alocen defense in the pick and roll. So I have all of that cut, but also I put down some of the last 3, 4, 5 games from InStat, and just I can compare maybe if I miss some of them, or for example, if we were focusing in another thing, and we can just complete the work that we are doing in order that just improve this kind of detail. So we have individual, and after we have a team post game as well, which also InStat is helping us with some collective actions. So mainly we have, because we have as everybody, a performance analysis of our sets, of our series, but all of that is complete with the work that you guys just provide as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Manu. Thank you, Nacho, for the again for detailed answers. And I would like to highlight, that we, all of us, fans of basketball, professional of basketball, we observe a lot of basketball games. Yeah. So and the talent is I mean, if a player has a talent to do some specific actions, like it's very easy, to determine. But then, if we want to check these details, such advanced technologies, advanced tools help us, to get more examples, check our feelings, check our observations, and use it for coaching, for player development as well. So I'm going to read some questions that we have in the chat, from Semyon Marinov. Hello, Semyon. And he asks, how do you approach bench and opponent's bench players? Do you have a weekend scouting routine frame, given them have a Champions League game and ACB?
Nacho, if you want.
Well, in Champions League, for example, we really highlight 3 key players that can define the team's type of game. We really showed in the first games that they had 2-3 players that really define the play type. So we really highlight. We did a special approach like we did with David Holston, like with 3 players, can be a wing, a point guard, and a center, for example, or can be 2 centers and 1 point guard. It depends on the team. And the next, the rest of the players, bench players or rotation players or whatever they are, we give a normal approach. Like we try to write 2-3 aspects that really define the player, but not just the strengths or the trends, but how we can attack him, for example. Information that can be useful, especially. Like he cannot, maybe he's a good spot-up shooter from 3, he's a good player in transition, and that's the 2 things he does. But we found out that he has problems defending back screens, for example, or backdoor cuts. That he may have some problems. So we put that in the scouting report because it's a detail that the player wants to read because he's going to focus on that during the game. So to just answer completely is just to highlight 2-3 players, 2-3 key players we talk about the week, and the rest of the players just 2-3, maybe 4 aspects that really define the player. And we really, video is very important, but the scouting report really need to highlight those 2-3 aspects, and that's it. Because to write a lot of things is not useful, because we play lot of games. We have double competition, as Manuel explained, and it's important just the player to adjust his focus and have an important approach and work through it.
Actually, this is the kind of answer that we did before a little bit, because we were talking that we are not giving like all the information that we handle. So because we have to give just the exact information that the player can handle in that moment. So it's some information that we have, for example, and we are not sharing before of the game. But during the game, when that player is going on court, maybe we say, okay, be careful, because in the spot ups, he's just dangerous. But maybe that player is not playing for X or Y reason. So why we just overload the player with a lot of information? So we just give some information, but as Nacho said, we highlight some players, but we have all of them, okay, with some details. We have always just minimum, I think, was 11 players, right, this year, Nacho, in a team. So minimum scouting report we have is 11, 12, 16 players if you are playing against Real Madrid, actually.
And by the way, like I have a question here. So when you said that when a player goes out of the bench, yeah, you can say to him some 2-3 hints, yeah, how to defend or how to attack, etc., etc. But what if, for example, your scouting report doesn't work during the game, and when you definitely need to change something, you understand it, and then when you like, I believe the right moment to discuss it is the large break, for 15 minutes when you go to the locker room. And how do you usually approach players during the large breaks? Do you give them some hints or not during the break?
Well, every game is different. I'm starting, Nacho, and you finish if you want. So every game is different. So obviously you can manage some information, and after, I mean, one player is just 3 of 100 in the last games and arrived at game, and obviously we are in the top level, and this player scored 3-on-3 in the first quarter. All right, so it depends. It depends as well if you completely know that player, okay, that's a lack in that moment, scored the first 2 shots, or actually it's a player that can do it, and he didn't do it in the last game, so he started getting in the momentum down. So we just have to take care. That's the read of the game, and that's why we are coaches, and that's why they are players as well. So we can read that one. Actually, also when I was working also in England, and that happened. So before you go to the changing room, sometimes in this stop, the players, they are already talking about it. So they are talking, okay, they are just killing us in the pin down. They are just killing us in the staggers. So you don't need the stats. You don't need the stats. So they read that, and we read that. So statistics, I mean, I love it. We like it a lot, but we need to just translate that to the basketball. So I think that the work that we are doing with InStat and with NAC Sport is nice, and I was talking with the guys as well this morning about it, but we need to translate that to the real field. And the real field, I mean, actually the players, they don't need to know actually a lot of things. So if that makes sense. So and we need to read and react as they are doing, right, Nacho?
Yes, at the end, the player takes his own decisions, and well, that's our goal, to the player to be independent and to be versatile enough to take his own to make his own decisions. And the thing is that, for example, we don't want to give too much information, even if our scouting report it's like wrong. For example, like Manuel put an example of the player that is not a shooter and then becomes a shooter in our game. The player and understand the situation and really has to make his own decisions, because it may be dangerous to change the whole game plan just because one player is making his own shots. So normally the player is the first one, as Manuel said, that really steps into the game and really thinks about it, and he has to he has to make his own decisions, because this more, maybe it can be more a question for our head coach. Like when we have a problem, there are two options: keep with our game plan or adjust. So I think for me in the individual scouting, it's important to just focus on what you can do after this situation, because I think in this 1v1 situation, in this matchup situation, there's a lot about mental. There's a lot about mental and about making your own decisions. You have the info, but game is different, and I think the player has to be independent and has to have that personality and that character to say, okay, 2 in a row, not the third one.
And let's be honest as well here. I mean, not a lot of people is listening. Let's do like that. But let's say that. But every player is different. Everyone is individual. So as you know, Nikita, and in some of the courses that I just have been like mentor or tutor, so I just shared my thoughts about we have to be working individually with the players. So some players, they want more information. We are ready to give them more information. Some players, they cannot handle that information, or they are more intuitive. So we have to be just ready to give the information when they can handle that information or when they need that information. So again, that is a work to know very good, okay, the players, to know how the group is going. And then that's why, okay, as a team and as a staff, we need to know each other. And I think that's why as well I wanted to share, we wanted to share this webinar, okay, Nacho and myself, because it shows also that nowadays is very important the teamwork, and the teamwork to just organize all the information and just have ready the information to give to the individuals when they need it.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Thank you, Nacho. Thank you, Manu. We have Ander Ithosquisa here following our webinar. He says it's a great presentation, guys. And he has a question: which extra feature would you like to see on InStat to help you in work? So, in the meantime, it's a great it would be a great suggestion for us, yeah, to hear, and we will note it, yeah, and we will try to implement it in the nearest future. By the way, I'm also going to share one secret that very soon we're about to launch a completely new version of the system. So I believe in summer, in June, you will be really surprised with all the new stuff. Okay, so what the question is, what kind of suggestion you can give to InStat to develop, what kind of improvement we have to do to help you more in your work.
First of all, we will thank you for this Christmas present and I will be waiting for that you are saying. And I think that a couple of things from me that maybe you have already, because obviously we are handling a lot of information. Sometimes we are using X, Y, and Z. So right now, for example, in this time that we have a lot of webinars, I just find a lot of other options with the programs that we are using and with other programs that I never used before, and and they give you a lot of options, right? So right here, I mean, I will say, for example, interesting about referees. So I don't know if you made the cuts for the referees and can have some statistics about the referees as well, because obviously how many calls they have the ref, and if that calls they can be good or not, or you can just after you can have like that kind of option. But the falls or the times that the ref is blowing his whistle as a part of the game. And I will say as well that interesting the trends of the situations. It's going to be difficult to just put the situation, but staggers, situation of pin down situations, with horns situation, we see double high, or situations of 4 down, or kind of sets or box situations when they have like the situation in the blocks and in the elbows, and starting like that for a zipper pick and roll, or for a just cross pick and elevator, for example. So this kind of sets is maybe difficult or tough, but just make a classify could be interesting, I think, more than anything, because after you can filter and you can see if in the ACB, for example, a lot of teams, they have staggers, starting staggers in the opposite side, or maybe a lot of teams, they are playing with the diamond scenario or situation. So that could be interesting. I think that these two things from the point of view of collective. Probably Nacho maybe have some idea about individuals, because he's working a lot about it. So or not, I don't know, Nacho.
Yeah, the first thing was what Manuel said about maybe the sets thing, about the structures, that most common structures. And I've seen lately that InStat has provided us, for example, with some advanced info about this, for example, with horns situation. But I think my suggestion would be to be working on first on that kind of things, like staggers, like horns, like these diamond situations. It would be helpful to track the tendencies of the teams, but also the tendency of the players indeed in that kind of situations, because there are players that love to use the diamond to fade instead of curling, for example. Is just an example. Or just loves to go to his right shoulder to in the off screen to shoot. This kind of info. The second one would be about this keep detailing the play types. For example, just in the pick and roll situation when he's a handler, let's see how many times he pull-ups. For example, he floats. But I've seen that with all the features we have, and I've shown under the shot chart of the pick and roll, for example, you can really get into it. But I think 1 point of improvement, it's
This will be
already
available.
it's
Believe me,
already.
this will be available very soon. Believe
So
me.
that's great. I think it's
Yeah.
for me as for the individual scouting. For me, that would be fantastic. Not just for the rival, but to keep helping our young players to develop with references like Campazzo, as I said.
Yeah, great. Yeah. So, guys, I think it was the last question. Um, I would like to tell you muchísimas gracias. This was an outstanding webinar. First of all, thank you so much for the effort, for the hustle. Yeah, because this was the first one. This was the first one when we had two speakers, and thank you for that. And one important detail I really forgot to mention. My apologize, Mano. In the beginning, that Manu also is co-owner of Sports Coach. By the way, I'm subscribed to this organization. Yeah, and this organization provides special uh, courses of for sports coaches, for coaches, for scouts. And you can really improve your skills, or if you're looking for a job in sports and you don't have a sports uh, education, so this kind of organization can really help you. in the beginning of our presentation, Mano shared his email, and you can reach out to Mano anytime to get details, yeah, of this organization. Anyway, you can reach out to the website, or so my apologies again, Mano. So this is
No,
my
not at all,
fault.
not at all. Don't
uh,
worry, don't worry.
yeah,
And
I had to do this by my own, but thanks God, I could remember it in the end. So thank you again, for the information, yeah, for the topic. Thank you for all the followers who followed the webinar. Stay tuned, and we will meet you in the next week.